In this video I will show you how I created this scene with the help of the Ciff Collection I just published on Superhive. For the foliage I will be using the dynamic pine biomes, and if you want to follow along, I added some of the presets I used for the scene in the product files as well. For example, the fog volume or ocean material. For the lighting I will be using an HDRI from Foliage. It's free, I will put a link to it in the video description. Before I'm going to start, I will have to adjust some of the viewport settings. First would be the focal length. I'm going to set it to 30. Since I'm going to create large landscape render, I will set the clipping end value to 3000 meters, otherwise I won't be able to see further away than 1000 meters in the viewport. Once you have downloaded and installed the Ciff Collection, you then have access to the tutorial files in the asset browser as well. Drag in the ocean plane and reset the location. Press Shift A to add the camera, and with numpad 0 you can then jump in the camera, and with Shift and F you can then fly around using the WASD keys. Since my viewport was a little bit tilted when I created the camera, I have to reset the Y-axis of the camera and then go in the lens settings of it and change it to the same as the viewport. 30 for the focal length and for the clipping end to 3000. Now I'm going to add the beach. Go to the Coastal 1 collection, drag and scale it down by quite a lot. In real life it's super huge, but for this scene it's not necessary to have it that big, and align it properly. To bend the beach a little bit, I will use the lattice modifier in combination with the quick tools add-on. It's not doing anything fancy or other than the normal lattice modifier, it's just way quicker to set up. I believe working with modifiers or deformation modifiers in Blender can be a little bit tedious, and that helps to quicken things quite a lot. So I can recommend using it. I don't think it's free, but it's worth it. Check it out. Now it's finally time to add some of the bigger cliffs. This one is for sure one of my favorites. Has so many interesting shapes, and even a little part of it is extracted from it. It adds so many interesting things without having the need to add other cliffs next to it. It does a lot just by itself. Now it's basically just adding more cliffs to the scene. Try to use the same ones as much as you can, since the textures are quite big and will cost a lot of memory. Be careful how you use them. So reuse them as much as you can. For the lighting I'm using a simple HDRI with the help of the Easy HDRI add-on. It's a free add-on, you can find it online, and it's not doing anything fancy. It's just putting all the setting into one place. And it has actually one super good option for these little skies that don't have a clear sun direction, but have a really cool sky. So you can decrease the sky strength and increase the sun strength without overexposing the sky. So you have some proper lighting, but not a super bright sky. One thing that works super well is soft selection. You can see me here dragging up and down some of the mountains to make them fit better. Just don't overdo it. It will destroy the natural flow of the cliffs and will look a little bit odd. To get more out of the cliffs, you can use the mirror modifier. It allows you to create really cool silhouettes, shapes, and in general more variations out of the same cliff model. So I would really recommend using it or trying it out on all kinds of different cliff models. Just don't look straight at it. You're gonna see it's obviously mirrored, but it works super well. going to add the foliage now, but I will speed up the video here by quite a bit. If you're interested to see how exactly I set up the foliage, I uploaded an extra video. You can find it in the video description where I explain it step by step. Now it's time to do some polish here. So you can see this hard edge. I don't like that. Usually beaches have like this like little wet where the waves wash and go away, right? It's quite like a wet edge here. So roughness is quite low on that part. And I have a function for that, which you can find also in the tutorial files. It's called wetness. So in order to edit here, probably there's a better way, but I do it like that. If you have a better way, please write it in the comments. I would be curious. So now this cube has it, and we can access this by switching to the shader editor. You can here and hit S. It will jump to the shader editor, and here it is. Select it, Control C, and copy it over to the beach. And this you can then add between the albedo or base color and the roughness. The albedo makes it a little bit darker below the water surface, and the roughness, if you can see it here, will make it a little bit more wet. And if it's not matching correctly, you can use this waterline to move it up. Oh yeah, wherever it is. But I will undo it. This function we can also use for the cliffs and everything else which is close to the waterline. It's a bit tedious to copy it now over to all of the other ones, but I will speed up the video for you so you don't have to endure it. And here now, if I go to the video, you can see what it is doing. Basically, it creates here like a little area, and if you move it up and down, it will look like that. The last addition to the scene will be volumetrics. Just keep in mind they will increase the render time by a lot, but it's worth it. To optimize things, you could just use the volumes where they have to be. For example, here I just tried to hide the transition between the sky and the ocean and blend the islands a little bit better in. The clouds are trickier to set up since they are basically just a random noise inside a box. But what I try to keep attention to here is that they lie in between the two cliffs on the right side and preferable on the left side as well. And since they're random, you also can get some happy accidents as well. The last thing would be the atmosphere, and again here I'm also using a volume for that. It's just a box, a little bit of fog, and it lowers towards the height. So if you push it down in the bottom, it gets less dense. And that's what I'm doing here, just to help bring the scene together so things in the distance get a little bit more foggy basically. Before hitting render now, I want to add displacement mapping to the cliffs and rocks in the foreground. This will give some extra details to the assets. The first step you have to do is enable the displacement node in the shader editor for every material you want to have the effect on. Next, add the subdivision modifier. This might take some time. Once it's there, disable it. In the viewport, you don't need it. Enable adaptive subdivision. Adjust the dicing scale from 1 to 6 or 10, depending on your machine, because you could run out of memory. So just keep the displacement mapping for the cliffs close to the camera, or increase the dicing scale. After seeing the first result, I felt quite good with the overall image, but I usually like to do some iterations on it afterwards. So here I did adjust the HDRI rotation and added some rocks to the mostly empty beach. Lastly, added a third little island all the way in the background.